Now then. This is another one of my Foundry showcase videos for Curse of Strahd in Foundry. I am going to show you another location from Curse of Strahd that I think has a lot of potential but often gets overlooked, and that is the bridge over the Tser Falls. So this is after the Tser Pool and leaving the village of Barovia. This is the first major river crossing you go over before you have like the turn-offs to Ravenloft and start heading to, Old Bone Grinder and eventually Vallaki. The book the book describes it but doesn't give any art. I think a lot of people don't realise how big the Tser Falls Bridge is. So this is another map made by the Mad Cartographer. I'll link their Patreon at the bottom. It's all done very much to scale. The bridge over the Tser Falls is 1,000 feet long. So this is a big map. It's also... It's not 1,000 feet long. It's a couple hundred feet long. It's 1,000 feet drop. It's still a very big bridge. So what the Mad Cartographer did here is obviously you can see very much blurred down to the floor of the riverbank below, just how high a drop that is. I know I completely overlooked this when these dimensions when I played my game. It was just some little medieval wooden bridge that was probably about 15, 20 foot wide, maybe 30 foot long, just like something off Animal Crossing, one of those little stone bridges. It's actually immense. So what the Mad Cartographer map designer did with this was obviously give it a bit more, just more verticality and more things to it, rather than just a little quiet river that comes to a little stone bridge and then the road carries on. So you have a sort of a switchback pass here. Now you could have that leading down to the riverside. I know in my campaign, my group, this is Curse of Strahd, spoilers coming up now, my group have met and cured the Mad Mage, so know that he's Mordenkainen, and he has made a bit of a lair. I felt that Mordenkainen's magnificent mansion, or whatever it's called, doesn't really fit Barovia. So instead, he pretty much managed to make Mordenkainen's fairly nicely furnished cave. And I've had that be behind the waterfall of the Tser Falls. One of my players was like, "Oh, nice, because of running water and vampires," and you're like, "Yeah, that's definitely why I did it." Or you could have this be the switchback pass that leads to the Tser Pool encampment. If you're a DM for Curse of Strahd, something really weird that I've seen discussed the last week and only found out recently is if you pull up the official map of Barovia. If you're familiar with the layout of Barovia, you'll know that you leave the village of Barovia, you come to a split in the road, and there is a well-beaten path, or like a footpath, that brings you to the Tser Pool encampment. On the map, there is another dotted line from that camp that brings you to this bridge. So that has always indicated to me that, yeah, there is a footpath to get you to the camp and a footpath to get you to the bridge. It's not the case. Well, and doing that means that the main road through along the road to the Tser Pool through the. Well, I need to get a map of Barovia up here instead of just trying to explain it. Let's have a look. Here's an example. So this isn't the official map, but it copies the same thing. So you leave Barovia, you go across the little bridge, you come to the Tser Pool, and then the book has this dotted footpath that brings you to the bridge. And you'll see there's this whole stretch of main road that never gets used. Well, it turns out when you read the text of the book that despite having the same map indicator, the footpath, you can't get to the bridge from the Tser Pool on foot. So you're going out of your way to see the Vistani, and then you have to double back and go along the road. The book does not make that clear at all. You might realise that and want to kind of retcon it a bit, and you might just have this be a bit of a difficult footpath that heads back towards the Tser Pool, especially if you're approaching this from the south, because south is the road that leads to the Tser Pool and the village of Barovia. That could easily be a bit of a difficult footpath that brings you up here. I've put a reminder for myself in a hidden text box, but it's a 100-foot drop. You also might want to look at how you use... so Mad Cartographer's done a few different variants of this map. One of them, all the torches are lit. All of these sort of squares are like torch sconces. Now, it can be up to you. I think it's a bit creepier to have heavy mist. You can see I've got a heavy fog effect on this. Heavy fog and the torch is not lit because they're new to Barovia. They don't know how old or neglected or... I just realised looking at the detail on those gargoyles. That's very cool. You don't know how long it's been in disrepair or neglect or decay. They're still learning their way around Barovia. Things should be spooky and empty. Then maybe later in the game, when they're coming back, you switch back to the version with the lamps and all the torchlight, and we're thinking, who's been lighting the torches? But yeah, the Mad Cartographer normally does quite a few different variants. And then you can see here, we've got the other side and heading on our road with some wagon tracks on there as well. Obviously, for tying into your campaign, Morgantha, aka Granny, has been wheeling her pie cart to a village of Barovia, selling these pies. This could be proof of a group that they're hot on her trail, following her back to the Bone Grinder, or not many groups call it the Bone... Well, not many DMs start off calling it the Bone Grinder, because that sounds unbelievably sinister. You might be thinking, oh great, that nice old granny we met, we're following her tracks to her windmill. And the other thing I put on here, I've put the edges of the bridge as an invisible wall, and I have put the larger drops that aren't just kind of... Oh, I've missed one here, actually. As I frequently mention in my videos, but I always like to repeat it in case this is the first one of my videos about these you've watched. Any sort of drop or climb that would involve a check or fall damage, or anything that I think a player could hear the consequences of their actions and go, oh, well, I didn't mean to do that. I always like to put an invisible wall there, just so they go, oh, I can't move up there. DM, can I jump down this? Yeah, but it looks quite steep, you'd hurt yourself. And then the player makes the decision to take some fall damage or to spend their turn making an athletics check to climb a ledge, instead of just moving up there, me saying, oh, well, hold on, make a climbing check. Oh, well, I wouldn't do that now then, and, rolling back combat. Yeah, so that's all there is to this map. One that I really like. Can't wait to use with my group. I'll put a link to Mad Cartographer's details Patreon down at the bottom. They tend to do a lot of different variants of these maps. But as ever, comment, let me know what you liked, what you didn't, if you're using this map in your campaign, if there's anything on here you think I've missed potential for. But yeah, otherwise, thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.